Inspired action is action that feels effortless and joyous and brings no stress. Of course, the big question is, how do you tap into that zone inside of you where you are literally taking inspired action nearly all of the time in your life? That's just where you live. Is that even possible? Do you believe that that's possible for you? A lot of people don't. Well, in this video, I want to show you how to tap into that zone and do it relatively effortlessly. And it truly does become the backbone of your life. And that is by far the best way to create financial success. What a lot of people do, unfortunately, is exhaust themselves and sacrifice many other important aspects of their life in the name of financial abundance, financial success. So their relationships or their health take a big toll in the name of accomplishing what they want. So, how do you overcome that? Well, if you have $1 million vision, you must take action that aligns with that vision. I hope when I say that, that's already common sense to you. You know that that's just true. You have to take daily action. A lot of people that are on more of a spiritual path and they do want financial success, I see it all the time. They tend to keep a lot of this stuck in their head. They think about it a lot. Maybe they visualize or they meditate a lot, but they don't take enough action. It's very, very common. So let's just drill down a little bit deeper into that. Most people either A, don't take nearly enough action, or B, they try to hustle their way to freedom but lack self awareness. And these are both pitfalls, right? There's a higher way to go about this that really allows you to have a life that flourishes on all levels. So money doesn't become something that creates all these other problems in other important areas of your life. So, the first step, you have to make sure you have a clear, compelling vision for your financial future. Make sure you've written this down and it's something that feels very true to who you are. It's coming from your heart and it's in your bones. Like you feel it on a soul level. You know what your ideal lifestyle looks like. You know how much money you need to make to fund that lifestyle. And you're really, really clear on why that's so important to you. It has a deep emotional power behind it. This is the basis of all forward momentum. It's what enables you to overcome challenges and to stay true, to stay committed to this path. If you don't have this, you're lacking the number one anchor that'll keep you moving forward on this path. Okay. So make sure you have this in place. Now, the key with your vision is to see yourself as already being that which you envision. So instead of having goals written down that feel like a far off ideal, you start to use the power of your mind and your imagination to visualize yourself, to feel yourself already being the person with that ideal lifestyle, to already owning that identity and having all the wonderful things that you want in this life. And you want to practice this daily. It's imperative to rewire the brain through repetition in this way. If you don't do this, basically the 65,000 thoughts that your brain is pumping out every day are going to be mostly redundant and they're going to be based on the old, on the past, rather than this new vision, this new reality that you're creating. So you have to plant these new seeds and rewire your brain through the power of your imagination, okay? Now, as you anchor in the feeling state, of already having the life you want, your subconscious mind will show you the exact steps to take you to that exact life that you're looking for. Joseph Murphy calls this the law of inverse transformation. By embodying what you want as if it's here with you now, you are rewiring your deeper mind, and it has no choice but to program your outer reality to give you what you want. And this can only come through repetition, through practice, through discipline. There's just no other way around that. But if you're willing to commit to that path, it's truly the basis of creating miracles in your life, of opening up a much higher frequency of reality where abundance becomes your natural state. Now, this feels very much like a process of reverse engineering or seeing the end in your mind and working backwards from there. In my own experience, this is very much what I notice is you're so clear and powerful in your vision and you're living in the end of that vision. You're feeling it every day that quite naturally your deeper mind starts to give you the exact structure and roadmap you need to take you to that ideal vision. It becomes a faithful servant rather than a source of confusion or just conflict, which is where a lot of people live. So you need to like get really, really clear and really, really have a powerful vision in mind and then start seeing it as already here. And then your mind will start to show you the exact steps to live that ideal life that you're striving for. Now, the key here is to remove all interference from the signals that your subconscious mind is constantly sending you. So, this higher or deeper reservoir of consciousness that is within you, that truly is you, it's always in communication with you. It's always giving you messages. And it does this largely through your feelings and through these spontaneous kind of images and impulses that you get. And it truly is a skill, and even more so, it is a superpower to be able to accurately listen to and be receptive to that deeper reservoir of consciousness within you. The only thing that's stopping you from that is interference. So, what does that mean? Well, this interference manifests as corrupted files in your internal operating system, which is the way that your current brain is wired. And really, what it looks like is fear and doubt. All interference traces back to attachment you have to fear and doubt. If you believe that the thoughts that you're thinking that are cranking out feelings of fear and doubt are you, that those thoughts are real, and you have your core identity wrapped up in those thoughts and feelings that are limited, you are allowing this interference mechanism to block you from access to this deeper reservoir of consciousness. Okay. So this is why in business, in financial success, in creating the career that you want, whatever it is, having an uninterrupted channel back to this higher level of consciousness is really the key to your success. If doubt and fear are showing up, you're basically stomping on your own dream, like over and over again. You're blocking your success. You're in your own way, so to speak. And so your mindset really is the number one factor here that's going to determine how far you take this. Now, you can only remove this interference through awareness and acceptance. You have to be aware of the interference. If you don't have self-awareness, you're not going to see the layers of self-sabotage that are built into the way that your brain is currently wired. You're going to create clever stories and excuses that will block you from moving forward on this path. And once you're aware of what's going on, like what's really happening with that interference, you have to accept it. You have to like surround it with love, letting go, surrender. That is imperative in order to move forward. Being unconscious of this interference is really the only thing that keeps it intact. Fear is very much like a phantom. It feeds on a lack of consciousness and intention. It will dwell and linger inside of you, and it will sabotage your efforts so long as you're avoiding it, as you're not willing to explore it and really look at it without, avoiding it or without judging it or resisting it. You have to shed the light of awareness on your fear and on your doubt in order to vaporize it. It's very interesting that when you start to do this, a lot of your questions are on like, well, how do I do this? Just go away, because awareness itself heals. Just shedding the light of consciousness on your fear immediately starts to vaporize it and like remove some of its power over you. It neutralizes its energy over you. This is why it's often said that drifting or unconscious thinking is the actual devil within. There are many books that I like along these lines that talk about the devil as not so much like this red, entity that with a pitchfork that's dwelling underground, but it's more this manifestation of unconscious energy within us, where we're allowing thoughts and feelings to linger inside of us without conscious intention. And that's also called drifting. That is the number one thing that is blocking you from your ideal life. It's the only thing that's really stopping you, because it's pumping out all these stories without even you being aware of it, that are making you feel justified in your limits. Now, once you clear this interference, your deeper mind will naturally guide you. You'll have what I call resonant ideas appear on a regular basis. A resonant idea is one that feels powerful, inspired, and creates a tangible shift in your body. There is a clear yes behind it. And so, what I'm suggesting to you is that you can remove interference to the point where you are literally inundated with resonant ideas on a daily basis. Some of those ideas are going to be huge, they're going to be life changing ideas. But on a day to day basis, a lot of them are just like micro steps that you're taking through that reverse engineering process. Okay. um, because once you clear out the fear and doubt, you're not attached to it. Your deeper mind, this higher level of intelligence, can now go to work on your behalf and show you the pathway to success. So you can base your entire life around following these resonant ideas. And this is when life becomes exciting and you can finally have total confidence that you can indeed create your ideal life in physical reality. You start to actually believe that this is possible because the only thing that's prohibiting you from believing in that is fear and doubt. And those like anything in your mind that is showing up as fear or doubt is a corrupted file in your operating system. It's not real. It's an illusion. And you have the ability to delete those old files. Okay. Now, this video you're watching right now only came about because I had a resonant idea literally like this morning to create this video. And I base all of my business decisions, all my money decisions on resonant ideas. I do not do things that do not resonate with me. And sometimes it looks very tempting, right? Like from a logical perspective, the mind says, well, you should definitely do that. It makes sense. But then on a deeper level, my intuition and my subconscious mind is telling me, no, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good in my body. I feel tension around that, or I just do not feel inspired by that idea. And I only do things that resonate with me at this point. And it's amazing once you start to lean into that mechanism inside of you and trust it because it will guide you where you need to be. Now, you have to be willing to be a little bit absurd sometimes and go against the grain of conventional wisdom and reason to do this. And it is about trusting yourself on a deeper level because literally, like, only you have the answers for your life, right? Like, and it has to come from a higher place than just your reasoning mind. If you just listen to your thinking mind, your reasoning mind, you're going to notice that you get pulled in all kinds of conflicting directions. Life kind of has its way with you because you're operating at a fairly superficial level of your own consciousness. So the key is to follow the path of least resistance. By removing interference and following resonant ideas, the path to seven figures can be a fun, energizing, and healthy one. Believe it or not, that's actually true. You can actually love the process. You do not have to exhaust yourself or compromise all these other areas of your life in order to become financially successful. Now, this is very true. You don't need to worry about the how to so much. Many people get hung up on this. They try to force the process and then give up prematurely. So you have to believe that you literally do have this higher or deeper level of consciousness that you can draw from anytime. And it is always communicating to you, it is always giving you signals about how to move forward in your life. And like I said, a lot of it happens through spontaneous insight and through feeling. Your body is a storehouse of this guidance, and it will give you clear feelings on a somatic level in terms of what's right for you and what's wrong or what's not appropriate. You know, it's an energy that you have to lean into and trust. So it is imperative that you trust your subconscious mind and get out of its way so it can do its job for you. You don't need to hijack the process by trying to assume control. How do you know when you're doing this? Generally, if you feel bad, if you feel stress, you're doing it. You're hijacking the process because when you're in touch with your subconscious mind and you're allowing this stream of resonant ideas to flow through you, it feels great. You feel healthy. You feel like this state of just flow and creative joy coursing through you. You don't need to force anything. When you're trying to force things or control things, it feels bad. It's a very simple guidance system that you have as a human being. So, this practice of living in harmony with your subconscious mind is how you enter flow states, heightened focus and productivity, and a zone of creative genius. And if you're watching this video right now and there's a voice going off inside of you that says, well, that sounds great, but I don't think I have the ability to do that, or that might work for other people, but it doesn't work for me. All that means is that you are attached to a little corrupted file in your brain, in your operating system that you think is you in there. You're identified with it as you. And once you clear out and delete that old programming, your natural state is what I'm talking about. It's a natural state of flow, abundance, confidence, alignment. You don't need to force any of this. You're just clearing out the corrupted files that block you from seeing yourself and your life clearly. So you have a highly unique pathway to financial abundance. The only thing stopping you is the BS story your mind is cranking out that is trying to keep you safe. This is literally a game of you against yourself in this way. And once you get out of your own way, things can start to flow naturally because your natural state is one of infinite abundance and power. That is who you naturally are once you clear out the corrupted files in your operating system that insist on your limitations. So, to become a big thinker and to live an epic life, you must be willing to relinquish cynicism, skepticism, stubbornness, and insistence on your limitations. And this is where things get very tricky for a lot of people. They can take this inner work to a certain point, but once it starts to really challenge their core identity and their deeply cherished belief systems, even if those belief systems are not helping them, they're not supporting them in manifesting their ideal vision, they cling to them violently. And I used to do this too. This is a big part of the spiritual path as far as I can see. Definitely in my own experience, is these deeper, more subtle levels of stubbornness. And we all have this kind of built in egoic tendency to just violently insist on our limitations. Like, no, 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 I can't do that because of this and that excuse or this and that story pumping out in my brain that says, this is who I am and this is just how life is. It takes courage and it takes, in a sense, being like a renegade to really do what I'm talking about. But this is where freedom is, you guys. This is where flow happens when you are willing to just plunge deep into your own consciousness and explore what's really going on here. Is my insistence on being right helping me or not? Is it serving my life or not? Is it leading to the freedom that I want or not? And how willing are you to move that energy around and to detach your identity from it? It's just energy. These are just corrupted files in your internal operating system. And when you start to see that clearly, everything changes because nothing's set in stone. So this is how you play the money game at a much higher level than most ever will. And once again, this is a path of what I call true abundance or true financial freedom, which I define as the ability to fund your ideal life free from worry and free from emotional attachment. That's true financial freedom. It's not just about a dollar amount in your bank account. Many millionaires out there have more money than they know what to do with, but they still are in bondage to money. They worry about it. They hoard it. Their lower levels of consciousness inside of them are running the show. And that is still going to create suffering no matter how much money you have. This doesn't matter about your past or how many times you think you have failed. The beautiful thing about being human is that you always have a choice to shift into a new identity and a higher parallel reality than the one you're living in now. You can literally upgrade your frequency of reality to higher states of consciousness where you're living in love, flow, abundance, and that just becomes your natural state. That is absolutely possible for you, but you must be willing to relinquish your past, the insistence on being right or being limited. That's really what naturally catapults you into these higher levels of consciousness. So, what are your resonant ideas? Write them down. Maybe you're already really clear on the things that inspire you the most, and big picture, like macro and micro. And it's just a matter now of trusting those resonant ideas and taking daily action on them. It can literally be as simple as that. If you don't know what your resonant ideas are, then it's just a matter of kind of developing this muscle, this superpower of aligning with your subconscious mind and clearing interference, clearing the block that stands between you and this higher reservoir of consciousness that's inside of you. So I want you to look for a link below this video to a new online course I have called Expand Your Mind, Expand Your Money. This course will basically help you with all of this. So everything that I'm talking about in this video, that's what this course goes into very deeply over 6 weeks. So it gives you a sequential guided kind of tour of expanding your consciousness, clearing out this interference, getting out of your own way so you can tap into a natural state of abundance and get tremendous clarity on your unique purpose and how to create the ideal financial life that you're looking for. So if you like this video, you will love this course. Go ahead and check that out at the link below. I hope this video starts to spark some resonant ideas for you and that you start to experience more confidence and flow just from the last few minutes that we've spent together. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Kevin Doherty, and I look forward to talking with you in the next video. Thanks.